This new year marks not just the start of a new administration, but the opening of legislative sessions both in Washington and right here in the Palmetto State. Let's welcome back Krystel Reid Heath, Chief Strategist and CEO of Capital Consulting Strategies. So the nation sworn in their 119th Congress earlier this month, and last week, really big week, had a lot of confirmations going on. But because we're seeing a majority in both the House and the Senate, everything should move through pretty smoothly.
Absolutely. I don't expect any major surprises. There might be some discussion and maybe even some filibusters, but ultimately I think the nominations will go through.
Yeah, and it seems like the performance of Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth,
Yes.
they went pretty well. But of course, because of that majority, we're going to probably see everybody get confirmed that Trump is nominated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Barring some major discovery, it's likely they'll be confirmed.
Indeed, indeed. Let's talk about some of the priorities at the national level. Certainly, we've been hearing nonstop about immigration issues, taxes. There's a lot of stuff that is a priority for the legislation, for the legislature to actually get passed just in the first 3 months of this year.
Yes.
They're ambitious.
Absolutely. And so with immigration, the Lakewood Rally Act has a companion piece of legislation that already passed the House. It's pending debate in the Senate, and it's likely to pass. I believe that will have bipartisanship support. When you look at the political landscape, certainly the ability of Republicans to pass their agenda is possible, but I think we're going to see some bipartisan efforts from Democrats to help there as well. Yeah. Really significant, has implications all across the country. Though Democrats support this generally, they want to see the bill amended. So I think some version of it will pass, but it will definitely be bipartisan.
What I find really interesting is watching Senator Fetterman really kind of coming away from his own party. I mean, he says he is the representative for all the people of Pennsylvania.
Right.
And so you are kind of seeing him align himself. He's been invited to Mar-a-Lago. So do you think that we're going to see some more Democrats maybe having an easier relationship with the GOP side?
I think so. And to your point, Senator Fetterman absolutely is pragmatic. He recognizes, and he said specifically, that in order to be the most effective representative for Pennsylvania, he's going to have to compromise. And I think that's a theme that you're going to see all across the nation. It's a numbers game, right? So you have to, just in the political realities, you're going to have to compromise. Ultimately, I think it's good for the country when you have different ideas, different perspectives come together. But in this Congress, absolutely, compromise is the word of the day.
Indeed. I know that President-elect Trump, he's already been President Trump has been taking some credit for the ceasefire that was agreed to between Hamas and Israel.
Yes.
So in terms of kind of the world stage and peace overall, do you also anticipate that this administration is going to look quite different from the one from 2016?
I think it will. You have to, because again, he's a president for everyone, so you absolutely will have to see that as well.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so let's talk about some of the other priorities. So taxes is another thing. I know it is right here in the Palmetto State, but President Trump, he's been very ambitious in terms of cutting taxes for Social Security, overtime, taxes on tips. We want to see an infusion in the economy.
Right.
How quickly do you think that we can see those bills getting passed and to actually see an impact on the economy as a result?
Actually, the very first week in Congress, Senator Thune, the majority leader for the Senate, essentially said that was a priority as well. And we've seen a number of bills introduced, reducing actually the tax rate completely and having a national sales tax. That's made some traction. We're also going to see other tax reform measures as well. Senator Thune has also outlined and said that he also wants to make sure that we can reduce taxes. On the Democratic side, Leader Hakeem Jeffries of the House has essentially said he wants to focus on Main Street issues, things like making sure that groceries are more affordable. So very similar themes, but I think the mechanism by which we accomplish that objective will be different. But I think, again, going back to compromise, if the goal is that we have a working economy for everyone,
Indeed.
We'll see different types of legislation introduced, but ultimately there will be some type of compromise.
Okay. And I know that this is very typical of outgoing presidents to kind of put in their last minute executive orders right up until the 11th hour. One in particular is President Biden, former President Biden's belief that, stemming energy production in our oceans should be halted. That, of course, flies in the face of everything that President Trump believes in. So what do you think in terms of energy and energy creation here in this country? Are we going to see an easy road there, or are we going to see some infighting?
It's interesting to see that the themes of the national level actually parallel what's happening in South Carolina. On the national level, yes, energy production will be a major focus. Again, Senator Thune outlined this the very first week of the legislative session and has said that that was a priority. What's significant here is that Senator Graham is the chair of the Budget Committee. The Budget Committee is by which Senator Thune and Republicans have said they're going to push forward things like energy reform. Budget reconciliation is a process by which a budget bill is introduced and then spending measures are set for each agency. What's significant about that is that it can circumvent the filibuster process, and it's a way to specifically get pieces of legislation like tax reform, immigration, energy passed. So absolutely, through that reconciliation process, I think we'll see a lot of legislation there. And on the state level, we have a number of pieces of legislation, Senate Bill 52 and then H 3039, that specifically will talk about energy reform and energy production, making sure that we have more regulations. There's been some criticism about that, but ultimately at the state level or the congressional level, energy is a major topic.
It certainly is, amongst many other things, which we could go on and on for.
Yes.
But I want to thank you so much for sharing all of this information with us. And we'd love to have you back to talk about things as they start to really develop as the weeks and the months go on. So we'd love to see you again here.
Absolutely.
Thank you
for having me.
We're back after this.